Good evening and welcome to the November 2016 session of the Southern Fried DNN User Group. Thank you to everybody who's joining us online as well as here in the house. We have some very special guests with us who've helped make this a party that's been extended out for a day and a half or two. And we'll introduce you to those folks here in just a little bit. But we have a good lineup for today, and I want to take just a moment to run through and let everyone know who's going to be on tap for the evening. We basically start off with a little bit of sponsor recognition, and we're going to go in and talk about the upcoming DNN Summit. After that, we will have as our main presenter for the evening Jean, who's joining us from France. So he's midnight and a few minutes his time. So we need to both be very thankful to him for joining us this late in his evening, but also be sensitive of his time. So we're going to kind of run through a few things quickly before we bring him on, and then we will turn the meeting over quickly after that. Aricie is going to be joining us at the end of the session to talk a little bit about DNN 9 and give us a preview and intro into that. And then we'll have giveaways and some more time with our sponsors we have in-house. Clint, you have something? You're going to pass that to him in the mail? Is that how that's going to come? All right. Well, to begin with tonight, we need to begin by, as always, thanking our sponsors. There's a lot of stuff that we do as a community and a lot of stuff that we do as a user group that are provided for by our sponsors. And that is not only the case here with us as Southern Fried DNN User Group, but also for the DNN community and the upcoming DNN Summit. So for ourselves, we have JetBrains as a sponsor for this evening's session, and we have some giveaways at the end of the night that are provided by JetBrains. I want to mention to everybody that's online, you are already also in the running for that. We've basically pulled a ticket aside for you and have numbers for you. So please stick around to the end. If you drop off, you don't have a chance to win. But also sponsor recognition. Tonight's session is especially sponsored by Manage.com. The guys from Manage.com provide hosting for our Southern Fried DNN, and several of us as developers and development companies love using PowerDNN, but we are thrilled to have them here in the house with us tonight. And part of what I want to do is spend just a moment passing it over to J.R. Brooks to come over here in front of the screen and talk for a few minutes. J.R., up to you. What do you want to have on screen? Do you want to see who's on and kind of do cameras and see jumping over the table, or do you want me to bring up a page for you?
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
All right, there you go.
They might be able to hear us talk.
I'm waiting for Clint to trip and fall and us to have to get a little 911 going on here.
You can sit that in the back so you can.
If anybody online can make sure they press mute, that'd be wonderful. Getting a little bit of feedback. There we go. All right, very good. Real quickly, I won't take up much time. We'll get to much more important things than me speaking, that's for sure. But just wanted to say thank you to everybody involved in this group. You know, we get a lot of support from this group. We like to give that back and support you guys and your businesses as well. And, you know, happy to be part of the community and looking forward to continuing to, you know, reinvigorate the community with the DNN Summit and, you know, getting involved more, I think, closely with the DNN Connect group as well. We're pretty excited about how all that's going to unfold in the future. So looking forward to some great things, and feel free to check out Manage.com or the PowerDNN site. So both can lead you to great hosting. Thanks a lot.
Two things to keep you up there for just a second.
Oh boy.
Number one, you do have a giveaway for the evening. So you want to mention that?
I did. We did bring a Raspberry Pi 3. Unlike what some people think, it's not just a Raspberry Pi, so you can't exchange it for strawberry rhubarb. But that'll be given away at the end of tonight.
All right.
And second.
Number two, we have Cassidy coming on to talk about DNN Summit in just a moment, but you've been also helping run and kind of foster and drum up sponsors. Do you want to talk online for that?
Yeah, that's a great point. So we are looking for one wonderful sponsor that wants to step into the platinum role. That is the one spot we have yet to have anybody step into yet and put their hand up. So as the one organizing sponsorships, anybody that wants to reach out directly to me, that would be wonderful. We're looking to make sure we fill that slot up and help this event go off seamlessly. So that'd be wonderful. So thanks for that.
Thank you, JR.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Cassidy, we're passing things over to you. Do you have anything you want to share on screen, or are we going to do just conversation here for a few minutes?
I guess just conversation, but in terms of information, go to dnnsummit.org and you can get more full details of what's going on. I guess, or Ryan can bring it up. He can do it for me. So if you've been hiding under a rock and you don't know, DNN Summit's going to be in Denver, Colorado, January 18th to the 23rd. We've changed some of the schedule and platform a little bit from traditional ways, so we're including a social event afterwards, which is DNN on the Slopes, and that should be a really good time, so we want you to add that on and come play after you learn and work hard. We have all of our speakers secured, so you can now go online and look at our speaker lineup, and we also have our session schedule out, so you can actually see who's speaking during what time slots and start planning a very difficult decision, because in looking at it myself and my team, we're all like, oh, we want to go to that one and that one, and what about that one? So yeah, and then Ignite, we did make selections there, so we'll probably be getting information up on those shortly. Early bird registration's over, so for the next one, pay attention, because we're now doing this as a paid conference in order to, you know, kind of take it to the next level and attract a broader base of speakers and be able to just make a more complete conference experience for everybody. But you can still register, and pricing is reasonable for all of that. And turn off your phones, like I don't. Sorry about that. So in our training is packaged with, so if you come and do training, we have full day training sessions. 3 of those are full day, which is our development, theming or skinning, and then administration. And we introduced a new training session this year, which is a half-day morning session for Intro to DNN. So if you're not quite 100% familiar and you want to get your bearings around it, that would be a great session for you. We also introduced a business roundtable that will be in the afternoon. And that's geared kind of towards anybody and everybody who wants to come together and discuss common, you know, problems, solutions, see how other people implement DNN, what you can do with it, and really just learn from some case studies and share knowledge and experience in that session. We also are doing a code-a-thon. So if you don't feel like you need to be trained or you don't want to share ideas, Wednesday afternoon and then Thursday all day will be a code-a-thon, and we're waiting on DNN Corp to provide us more detailed information on exactly what we'll need there, but we really want anybody and everybody. We need front-end, back-end, people with some user interface experience, people that do know how to code. So if you're not the best coder in the world, that doesn't mean you can't participate, because we really need all facets of folks there to help. Let's see, what else do we have? We have our social events. So we'll have our welcome party Thursday evening before the session, and then on Friday we have a really full day, and we'll be transitioning to DNN After Dark. And we're hoping, and that's where JR is trying to get a couple more sponsor dollars for us, but to be able to do kind of a fun event at the DNN After Dark to make that a little bit more exciting. And then if you do transition into the DNN on the Slopes, we'll be taking a bus at around 10 o'clock in the morning from the hotel up to Winter Park, Colorado. and transition into some tubing and après-ski or happy hour. And then we'll be doing skiing or snowmobiling on Sunday and more après-ski or happy hour. And then we'll be shuttling everybody back to the airport so they can go home and be really exhausted.
It's going to be a packed week of DNN and networking and fun with all of our DNN community. It's something that we're going to get even more excited as we go every day for the rest of November and December getting into this. Thanks to Cassidy for participating in a video interview that we had earlier. One thing I wanted to mention as a segue running out of DNN Summit was that Aricie is putting together video clips and interviews with the speakers and the session providers and the trainers for DNN Summit, and he's been releasing them a little bit at a time. Maybe he can speak to that schedule in a little bit, but Cassidy and I and one of the trainers had a session earlier this week, and some small snippets of that and video have gone up for those. So if you haven't an idea of what you want to catch at DNN Summit, you can obviously go onto the sessions page and the speakers page on the website to learn a little bit more about the people. But catch these videos, especially if it's something you're on the fence on, you're trying to decide between one and another. Catch these videos. You're going to catch a good bit of information about each session. And more importantly, Aricie is trying to catch a soundbite from each person, the one thing that they want people to walk away from that session having learned. So if you really want to learn a little bit more about them, catch these videos and catch that one thing and help make your decisions. Cassidy, anything else?
I might add to that right now on the DNN Summit site, we don't have the videos, but as we get a few more out, we're going to start linking those to the speakers and their sessions, so it'll be easy for you to kind of relate and go and look and view the videos to help you make better decisions on what you want to watch and attend from there. And then
additionally, I want to mention that if you're not sure where to find them as well, we're posting them onto the Southern Fried website as well. As they get posted, we're trying to post to link them up.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Cassidy. Last pitch item for DNN Summit that you want to mention. You mentioned about registration. We're obviously out of early bird. How about hotel spots and lodge spots? Doing well for those? Do people have to hurry and pay attention to those as well?
So our attendance is doing great, which is another reason you should come and attend, because networking will be phenomenal. But so we've already extended our room block one time with our contract, and we're now in negotiating contracts again, trying to get that room block extended. So if you are wanting to book, if you want to come email us, so we at least make sure we have enough rooms to go around. And if you've been holding off and not making reservations, please do, because the hotel, I think already Wednesday night, and don't hold me to it, but I don't believe we're going to be able to extend anymore because they're sold out. I don't think they're sold out of the hotel, but they're sold out of room block availability, which means their inventory is low. So you may be able to still stay there Wednesday night, but not at our discounted rate. So the sooner you book the hotel, the more likely you're going to get the discount. So I highly encourage that.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Cassidy, for joining us. We will check in again on DNN Summit and try and help promote as much as we can. But just looking forward here, our next Southern Fried meeting in December is our Christmas party, so we don't put that one online. And then the next DNN user group meeting that we have is during DNN Summit. So we haven't finalized our plans exactly, but we're planning on hosting our DNN user group, Southern Fried, on junket or travel over to DNN Summit. So we'll be doing it that Thursday in January from DNN Summit. So we won't have a chance to talk to you again until we're there at the session.
Well, and the good news is it hasn't been snowing, which is very unusual.
That's good news?
Yeah, well, the good news is we've had a big storm today, and it's very white out my window. So it has sun. So there should be snow and plenty of it by the time you show up.
Excellent.
For
Excellent.
me, I didn't have to deal with snow till now.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Cassidy. We'll switch back now. At this point, I don't think we have anything else to jump to. Do you want David to switch the presenter? Oh, you know what? Community buzz and announcements. Tell you what, I'll bump into that in the end because I do have a couple of things that I want to mention, but I'll do them in and around the DNN 9. So at the moment, what I want to switch over to is a little bit of news and information and presentation here about a DNN module that's called Portal Keeper. Portal Keeper is something that I was introduced to at a DNN Hangout a year and a half ago. And there were a lot of features and a lot of items out of Portal Keeper that I was excited about and interested in. But I thought again of Portal Keeper this summer when one of my own locations was under a denial of service attack and was having some different security issues that, in retrospect, Portal Keeper could have helped with. There are a couple of different items that Portal Keeper is able to do regarding filtering and looking up where your traffic is coming from, doing things like making sure that registration forms are only available to people within your country and by IP address not available to people outside of your country. There's some security related things, and while Portal Keeper can do a lot of really exciting bot and AI related things, those are the first two items that I asked Jean here to come and present to us and talk a little bit about. So, one thing is I didn't exactly mention company or introduction here. Why don't you begin by introducing yourself to the community online, and we'll let you take it away from here.
Well, thanks a lot, and thanks for having me at this session. I'm sorry in advance for my poor English. I'll try to be as concise as possible. Just a few words about Aricie and myself first. Aricie is a French DNN integrator. We've been developing DNN application and dealing with many projects, trainings in all kinds of setups during all that time. And I was CTO of Aricie until very recently. And in Aricie I developed Portal Keeper module, which you just talked about, and I just left Aricie actually to start a new business which will be an online platform to commercialize some new features and the next generation of Portal Keeper as a microservices SaaS platform. But I'll keep develop Portal Keeper as a DNN extension, so it's still here to stay. Maybe now about Portal Keeper. So Portal Keeper is an open source DNN module which you can download on Codeplex. It's on the DNN Forge, and if you go there, I would advise to start with the light version, which is the one that includes most of the features we'll be talking about tonight. And the full version has got other extended features like the bots and the AI stuff that you talked about. But if you're looking at the features that any DNN integrator might be interested in, the light version has all of them. So let's move on to the module itself. It is a runtime engine to build online agents, and I'll try to detail as much as I can what it consists of. The UI consists of a large hierarchical configuration form, and using the form you can navigate down the hierarchy and move inside the items and then back up. So there's a single form in which you can navigate and enable or edit the various features of the module, and then you can save your configuration. So there's a single entry point where everything's available. Then the runtime engine has 6 different flavors that make up the main tabs of the configuration flow. So the first one is an application firewall. It is a single agent that plugs into the ASP.NET request lifecycle, and in which you can execute rules. And those rules, you can execute them before, during, or after your page or your ASP.NET handler running. And then you've got bots, which are agents running within the DNN scheduler, and they've got their own individual schedule. Then you've got web services, which are agents based on the DNN service framework, where you can design new web API controllers online. Then you get HTTP handlers. They're, well, basically regular ASP.NET handlers, so they're alternative to pages or other handlers. Then you got control adapters. Maybe those they're not very well known, but they're actually a very powerful feature from old-fashioned ASP.NET controls, and they allow you to intercept and override any controls behavior, and it could be web controls or user controls. So that's quite a powerful feature, considering most things are still controls within DNN.
A good example to mention here for a control that many older DNN instances would benefit from instantly is that swap change out there for the DNN CAPTCHA core over to reCAPTCHA that happens in a control adapter, so that then if your module or someone else's module has the older DNN core CAPTCHA in use, you can turn this on and it'll immediately be replaced in stream by Google reCAPTCHA.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm planning to move to that particular agent later on. So yeah, I'll talk about it a bit later. But that's indeed a good example of what you can do with those. And the last one is the application agent. So this one is based on the global application lifecycle. So you can plug into the start event or the end event, or even on the critical recycling condition event, which is usually not easy to tap into. And then those agents, they're made of a runtime, which consists of rules, and each rule can be made with actions and conditions. So you're going to evaluate the conditions, and if the condition match, then the action's going to be run. And those actions and those conditions, they will be evaluated and run at particular event step, and that depends then on the agent type. So if you're familiar with ASP.NET, on the firewall you'll recognize most of the classical ASP.NET lifecycle steps, including the page rendering steps. Another thing is to define those list of actions and conditions. You've got providers available, and the list of type of actions and type of conditions that you can tap into is also something you can change. So for instance, this is the conditions providers available in the firewall, and you can add your own, and it's pretty easy if you want to develop your own action provider or condition provider. And finally, you can also, with any agent, you can also define parameters in the form of any kind of .NET objects. And within the runtime, you can also define intermediate variable to be consumed later on. And that's a short summary of what Portal Keeper does. Now let's move on to the specific security issues and how you can enhance security with Portal Keeper, and hopefully we will also give you an idea on how to use Portal Keeper in any kind of different ways. What I propose is I'm going to list all of the agents that you can use security-wise, and then concentrate on a couple of them to move into details. And well, if at any point you feel like I'm too long, just let me know, and I'll try to be quicker. So there are first a couple firewall rules that you can use to enhance security. One of them is protect from distributed denial of service attacks, and then protect from bandwidth overuse with a throttler, then control critical accounts access, then block referrer spammers, then detect simultaneous connections of the same user, and then limit registration geographically. And also you can use filter HTML response, which is a quite generic firewall rule, but you can basically modify the HTML, and it includes an HTML cloaker, which you, for instance, you can use to prevent email collection on your site. And then there are a couple control adapters. So you just talked about the reCAPTCHA replaces DNN CAPTCHA adapter, and also a couple others. They can be used as a model to basically change the page's content. If you have some stuff that you want to remove, then an adapter is can be handy for that. So that could be removing the selection panel from the text editor, but you can do some stuff on the global pages or on skins or skin objects. So that those kinds of adapters, you can use them as model to fix some parts that you would want to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of those, they're just examples really. They're the default ones, but you really can make your own by using the existing condition and action providers, for example by copy-pasting from existing rules, or you can add your own providers, but really let's consider that that's just examples of what you can do. So let's see a couple of examples. I'll get into the detail of how the agents are built and how they work. So first about fighting spam registration, which indeed was an issue last year. There are two agents for that. One is a firewall rule and the other one is a control adapter, which we just talked about. The firewall rule is the one which is called limit registration geographically. So I just look at the condition and action and then demonstrate how it works. So it's got a single condition which is of the provider client source condition, so you're going to match client source, and the way it works is you select the type of client source that you want to match. Here we want to match a country, and well, I've selected France because my IP is going to be a French one, and normally it would be negated, like you would want, for instance, to only have a US citizen allowed to register. I'm going to do the opposite because I want to match myself. I want to ban myself from registering. Mm-hmm. And then let's see the action. And the action is of the type customized environment. It's a small action provider, and it lets you basically choose the type of registration mode dynamically, and then you can also have a view mode only, which is another feature. Mm-hmm. So let's see how it works. I'll open a private browser session. So I've got the register button here, and if I enable the rule, okay, there it goes. So simple rule, but yeah, could be useful. But then maybe your problem is not really about the country. You might have spammers that you don't really know how to locate. So the reCAPTCHA adapter is a good one. The idea is that, well, basically you can add a CAPTCHA to the registration screen to prevent spammer bots, but there were vulnerabilities with the native DNN CAPTCHA, and Google's reCAPTCHA is a pretty strong one, and that adapter adapts the DNN CAPTCHA web control. So here is the control that you want to adapt, so that's DNN CAPTCHA control, but it could be also a user control. If I want to select a path instead, I get the list of all the user controls on the portal, and that's quite powerful because you can also adapt dynamic user controls, and that's something that you're not supposed to do normally. And then there are two entry points into adapting the native control. One changes the rendering to replace the native HTML by the reCAPTCHA's HTML, and the other one taps into the validate event of the native control in order to call the Google server instead of native validation. And there are also two parameters, which are the two private and public keys provided by Google, and well, you have to put your own here. Usually with each agent you have instruction on how to personalize the agent so that it works on your environment. And
there's the instruction manual, David. It's in each one.
Yeah, I think I have to disable the other one first because I can't register now. Okay. Here we go. So that's where the DNN CAPTCHA was replaced with reCAPTCHA.
Very nice.
Now, let me know about the time. Can I move on with another one?
Absolutely. Yes, we're in good time.
Okay, good. So let's talk about denial of service. I think that one you're also interested in.
Yes.
So the idea is that you want to prevent those attacks by identifying the attacker clients and rejecting the requests. So also I'm going to look at the conditions and the actions so that you understand how it works and how you can customize it to your needs. So let's look at the conditions first. There's a single condition again, and the type is the provider's request caps condition. So maybe it's not a good name, but well, you get the idea. And the way they are meant to be used is you define several limiting maximum rates with different parameters, and those parameters are again the source that you want to monitor. So here it's going to be X forwarded IP. By the way, there's IP and X forwarded IP. X forwarded IP, it means there's another kind of smart analysis trying to figure out what your real IP is, removing the closest IP on the server if there was like a load balancer, and also removing your local IP if you were on a local network. So trying to figure out what IP, what external IP is used. And then the scope could be any kind of request, or only pages request, or only DNN pages request, or custom condition to match the request. And then the rate, which is built from max number of requests and a unit of time divide both. And then max number of new sources is a bit particular, and I'll come back to that parameter later. But then you got max total kilobytes, which is to monitor the request size, and optionally you can also monitor the response size. And the thing is, it is up to the admin to figure out what is the appropriate limit considering the traffic that you expect. And it is important to define several limits because you want to be more lenient on short periods, for instance. So the first requests are going to be quite numerous, like the first 10 seconds you're going to have quite a lot of requests, but then on over 2 minutes or half an hour, then you don't want the same rate. So that's the reason for having different rates with different scopes and different units of time. And then, yeah, let's see the action now. So the action is called pre-denial response, and the provider is request denial. You get to choose the type of denial. So basically, you got either abort connection or different kind of HTTP status. And for HTTP status, you can either throw an HTTP exception. So that's considering you set up your exception handling, or you can simply send the status with a content. And with abort, you get to choose how to abort the connection. Mm-hmm. And but then it is called pre-denial because there is something else to see here. And this something else is the fact that the condition has got the ban settings tab, which is enabled here. And this is a feature that is global to the firewall. And basically the firewall has got a blacklisting feature, which is not specific to the specific rule. It is a feature with an action that you define for any blacklisting rule. And here is actually the action that is going to be executed once a client is blacklisted. And this one is a abort connection. And this action is a bit different because it is run at the earliest time possible in the request. There's nothing else happening in the ASP.NET lifecycle event, because if you ban a client, you really want the client to not use any resource at all. So very fast activation on this one. So it is a reason for this extra feature. And finally, coming back to the rule, there is this particular parameter which I talked about on the conditions, and because so far we basically considered denial of service, but that rule is for distributed denial of service. What do you do if you have a distributed attack and you cannot pinpoint a single client overriding the maximum rates that you've defined? Well, then you can define the maximum number of new sources. So that means those of those source types per unit of time. And the idea is that you've got a sliding time window spanning the duration that you've set up, and it keeps track of new visiting clients. And if at some point that number is maxed out, then the whole window is going to get banned. So, and that's regardless of individual rates. So that may result in a few false flags with new visiting users being unfortunate to connect at the same time of the distributed attack and being flagged. But all the newer and the older visitors should not be affected. So I think it's a moderate effect. So that's the idea for distributed denial of service. And about the demo, I won't do a live demo now because, well, basically first the setup is a bit complex, and then I'm pretty sure you might lose me if I start hammering the server. So what I want to show you instead is the result of a simulation that was made with web server stress tool. There was one server simulating rogue clients and one server running the website and simulating legitimate clients. So this is what we've got first with Portal Keeper disabled.
Can you zoom into that a touch, Jean?
Sorry?
Can you zoom into that a touch?
Yeah, I suppose. Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
So here you see the raw client, so the hit per second has got a progressive ramp, and the clink time increases as the server chokes, basically. So if I look at what's happening on the server, the click time also increases, the hits per second decreases, and the CPU maxes out. This is a pink one here, and you get 100%, so it is not good. So, and then with the rule activated, you can see that the click time also increases, but then the requests get aborted, they get blacklisted, basically. And the client increases the hits per second quite significantly, and it is the client this time that actually chokes, and it can't generate enough requests to keep up with the server shutting him down. And on the server side, you can see the click time starts raising also, but then it returns to normal, and the hits per second are pretty unaffected. And the CPU also raises, but then returns pretty much to baseline. So, well, it's still a kind of toy simulation, but I think it's encouraging, and it would need to be tested in more real conditions. It's quite a start, I think. And if I still have a little time, is it okay?
Yes, let's have another 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll be in good.
I wanted to finish with one last rule, which I think is quite important, and that's control critical accounts. So this one, it prevents connection with a high level of authorization from outside of a whitelisted location, and this has been talked about quite some time recently, so I think it's a good one. First, about the action. So if you want to connect and from a location that's blacklisted, then it's going to log an event, and so this is a log event action. And you can see here there's a advanced token replace, which is quite powerful, and maybe we can get into that some other time. But basically, in most actions with messages or text content, you've got the system of advanced token replace. Then back to the actions. Well, then you sign the user out and you redirect him to a page, for instance, to explain to him that it cannot connect with such authorization there. But the conditions are more interesting. First, you want to match the level of authorization that you want to secure. So you could say the super users and the administrators, but you could also have other roles or specific user IDs. And then the location which you don't trust, which are basically the negation of the ones that you do trust. And the one that you do trust could be IP ranges. So again, with the idea of sources, and you list your IPs, and could be ranges as well. It could be trusted alias. For instance, if you have a local alias which is not accessible from the internet, and you want to use that to be an administrator, then you can say only from that alias you can be an administrator, you can connect as an administrator. And then could be trusted countries for more flexibility. And the last one is quite interesting, is where you want to define a profile property with the IP address that is restricting the connection. So this thing is an expression, and there's a lot of them all over Portal Keeper that lets you it is a bit the glue with which you can manipulate variables. And there's also, if you want to do expressions, well, you might know what like .NET and how to build it, but there's an expression builder that could help you set up your expression and browse the various variables. And there's some pre-processing here where basically you create the local current IP variable and you load the profile property variable. So this is a load profile property action provider. There's two types of profiles in DNN: identity profile, which is the one that you can edit online, and personalization profile, which is something more hidden. And you can also define a default value saying, for instance, that you're going to set up the profile property to the current IP address, which means the first time the user connects as an administrator, it records its IP, and from now on it has to use that IP to connect as an administrator.
Nice.
Okay, so that's it for that proof.
That's a fantastic set of items. We could spend a lot of time, because we spent time here in the firewall section and in the control adapter section, but there are certainly several other features and elements inside of Portal Keeper. Just as a quick introduction, if you wanted to explain to someone else who's seen this now, but one other feature, one other very powerful feature of Portal Keeper that you would promote to someone to explain to them why they need to take a look that we haven't touched about tonight, what would you suggest?
Well, I would suggest the features that I'm going to work on, and I've started working on again, that going to make the next version of Portal Keeper, and that would be the bots and services. Basically, there's one type of action and that is call a web service. So if you've defined services there, it's pretty much the same as if you've defined new action providers. And this added to the fact that I am working on artificial intelligence services, means that basically all those controllers there, they make some kind of new action providers to include artificial intelligence in your actions. So with that kind of tool, you can think of making a pretty smart agents, and that's what I'm heading for, basically.
When you were talking earlier about AI, artificial intelligence agents, I assumed that they would be set up as bots versus over here.
Right, but the idea I have now about it is that a bot is pretty much just a scheduled service. So I want to move most of the bot's logic into their own controllers and available as API services, and then have a bots version of those. But I think the entry point should be eAPI, the microservice, and I'm sure I'm not the only one to say that.
Yes, yes. Well then, we will ask you to come back and talk to us perhaps in the summer next year, and show us what's happening with AI and your new setup.
Sure, thanks. That would be a pleasure.
All right. David, Clint, did you guys keep track of questions or things that were in the shop?
I did, but there were no questions that I saw.
Okay. David?
Well, I asked how thick the mail was.
David's question earlier was that the instruction manual for this, especially with the range of items that it can do, the instructions must be a thick book. How do you feel the learning curve is with someone getting started with Portal Keeper? Do you find that people jump in and quickly get started with what they are attempting? Or more, what's that life cycle of people getting started and then working with things? How is that?
I would agree that it lacks a proper documentation, but the thing it's got is that most labels have got their own online documentation, and I've tried to give as many examples of what you can do with it as possible. So I would suggest, in order to get used to it, to copy paste basically some bits. Just copy agents, make new ones, copy group of actions, try some stuff and figure out what it does. And if you do that, then it should work out pretty well at some point, because even if you don't plug the things right the way they should be plugged, you should have error messages that get you pointers on what you're doing. So you've got a lot of building blocks basically in the module, and just try to play with them. You should be okay.
All right. Well, if you had one thing to relay to everyone who didn't catch this session, but maybe is going to catch it on video afterwards, if I had a soundbite for you to promote Portal Keeper, why don't you give us what that is? Your one thing, as Aricie would put it. Give us our sound bites, and we'll close with that. On the spot. Here's the pressure.
It's like playing Lego inside DNN.
All right. Yeah, that's a good analogy. I like that. Well, thank you very much, Jean, for spending this time with us very very late in the early morning there for you. Thank you so much for coming and presenting to us. We're looking forward to testing out and doing more things with Portal Keeper. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Yes, good night. Sleep well. David, if you would switch presenter over to Aricie. Aricie, I haven't seen you on video yet. Here we go. Nope, no sound yet. Come on. Do you have?
Can you hear me?
We hear you now.
Perfect. Okay, so let me share my screen here.
Yeah. Well, so Aricie is joining us tonight. We wanted someone to spend a little time introducing us to DNN 9. This is, for many of us, a first look, a first preview of it. It's been available that people can start to take a look at, and this, for many people, if you haven't seen it yet, is going to be your first intro and preview to it, the persona bar and everything else related. Aricie, why don't you take it away and let us see what we're looking forward to here.
Perfect. Okay. So thank you very much, Ryan. Yeah, it's a new experience here with DNN 9. I have done a few video reviews on DNN 9, and the main thing, and I guess that I'm gonna start with the end in mind. The one thing here about DNN 9 is really about a new admin experience that you're gonna see there. You're not gonna be seeing too many new features, but you're gonna be seeing a new admin experience. That's the one thing about DNN 9. Now, let me get to some examples. What you guys are seeing here is a DNN 9 fresh out of the oven, DNN 9 build 651, which I downloaded just today in the morning. So again, it's very hot, it's very fresh here. This view that you guys are seeing right now, that you guys are looking, is the one that I'm logged in as super user. I'm logged in as host user. I also have a view where I'm logged in as admin, but let's have a look here on the left-hand side, which is the new bar, which is called the persona bar. And why persona bar? Because this bar will take, how can I say that? It will take the access level, the security permissions of course whoever is logged in. So different types of users will see different options here, and so that's where the persona comes in place. Each different personas, different personalities, different types of users on the website will see different aspects. of features, options on the persona bar. Now, that's one thing here. The persona bar, differently from the bars that used to be there, and here's a DNN 8 website, the persona bar is completely outside of the rest of the site. So it runs off of an iframe. So this area here is, again, running off of an iframe. What does that mean? What does that mean to be running out of an iframe? It means that this is completely independent from the rest of the site, from the rest of the page. So there might be things here on the page that before it could impact, and it could actually break the admin bar on DNN 8, sorry. But on DNN 9, this is no longer a problem because, again, the persona bar is running off of an iframe, and that isolates what's running on the persona bar as compared to what's running on the page, what's going on with the theme, and with the modules on that page as well. Now, that's about the persona bar. Let's have a look here. As I said, one of the key elements is of DNN 9 is really the new admin experience there. So I'm just going to give you a quick example here under Manage Users. So what happens when you go to those different views is that as compared to DNN 8, each feature under the administration, under host, they used to be pages. So it's a page that gets loaded, you see a full page refresh, that's it. Now here on DNN 9 with the persona bar, what we have views. So what I'm showing here is the user's view, which again, it loads up using, SPA approach, using a very lightweight client side, code from the client side. And as you can see, the only thing that you see when you click on different views is this bar running across the top. That shows that the view is loading. But again, the view comes up very, very fast. It's very instantaneous. You can, again, just click on themes. It pops up right away. And that's really the key experience that becomes different. And hopefully everybody will also think that this is a bad experience, which I truly think it is. And again, you just see the loading bar at the top, and that's it. You see, this is fast.
I see. I caught it that time.
Okay, so this is the loading bar, how fast it is. I just have an outline here. I just want to make sure that I'm on track here. The other aspect that I want to show, and for that I want to go to, for instance, I want to go to users. The other aspect is what I'm calling, and I didn't see anybody calling that officially, but it's the inline editing. And what I'm talking about here is specifically this. If I select this user, if I click here on the settings of this user, you see the loading bar shows up at the top, but again, you see the editing view comes out on the same page. So again, there are no refreshes. It's very fast, it's very quick, it's very instantaneous here. As you can see, just click there. I will cancel this, close up, no refreshing. And again, that's what I'm calling here the inline. You're gonna have a lot of inline experience like that. Actually, the whole administration right now, it's all this inline experience that we are seeing here on the users as an example. You see, security here. This one took a little bit longer, but let's see the security here. You see the grids with the roles for this user. You can type in to select another role. Again, very, very fast, very, very slick, What else we have here? So runs from an iframe, doesn't interfere with, okay, so I'm getting, okay. Another point here. Yet another aspect, another consequence of building up this persona bar, the new bar, is the fact that we are now DNN is now getting rid of more and more the telemetry control. So none of what we are seeing right now is built with telemetry control. So this, the persona bar really marks almost a complete break, a complete move away from telemetry, at least from an administration point of view. Okay, so to close this area, to close this view, we have two options. So we can click on view sites and it close off, or I'm going to go back there and I can press ESC. That's how it closes back and you see the page that you were originally at. What else we have here? So a lot of little frills there, here and there. You're going to see. I'm going to give an example here. There is another bar that runs across the bottom of the page when you click Edit. Now, when you click Edit, there is a refresh. And I'm not sure if there's anything that will be done at this point in time to avoid that. I don't think that there will be anything done here. But yes, it's a full refresh when you click on Edit. So it refreshes the page and it puts the page in an editing mode state. So with that done, we see, and again, this experience is very, very similar to the evoke experience as well. I can add a new module here. I could select, let's say, the HTML module. Now, a little frills here, a little frill. You have this, bouncing module that shows up, and you can click and drag to the location that you want it to be positioned. Now, few things here that may or may not, maybe it will get fixed at some point, I don't know. But if you scroll all the way down, I don't see the page scrolling, but that's fine. I can drop it there, and from here, I can just say, you know what? Move, as we all know, this is not new. Yeah. Move to another pane on that page. But again, a little frill there. What else? There's another one that I wanted to show.
While you're holding the bouncing module, what happens if you use your scroll wheel on your mouse? Does the page scroll then?
Good point. Let me try. It scrolls here, but let me try when I'm adding yet another one. Yeah. See, you got it. A way around that, Okay, let me just drop this. Okay, so that's adding a module. Let's have a look at adding a page as well. So let's go to content under pages. So here you can see quite a different experience as compared to the other way that the old way that pages, the page view were built. So you can see the list of pages. You can click. You can see a little number here that shows how many pages are underneath that page. And again, you keep clicking. I'm wondering how many levels this will go before it starts to scroll horizontally, but I haven't tried that. In any case, if I click on Add Page, I'm just going to create a test page here quickly. And as you can see, all the time, just this loading bar and views coming up very quickly. So let me add a page. Another frill. Here you can drag the page and you can place it wherever you want, and you can, on different levels, on different before, after, the list of pages that are already there, and I can drop and it will stick there and it will open that page. So again, just how you're going to be adding new pages to DNN 9. Let me see what else here. Okay, there's an interesting one here. I'm going to go to this test page, and if I go to the settings of this page, there is this. Oops, let me go back here. Actually, let me go to the settings from here. Yeah, this option was not available on DNN 9. Oh, sorry, on DNN 7 and 8. It's a simple button that says, that allows you to duplicate that page that you are on right now. So you click on that duplicate page, you put a new name, and again, there's no content there, so you will not be able to realize the full extent of that, but when you're creating a duplicated page, it will duplicate all modules on that page as well. So I'm just going to type in test here, click on save, and actually I have it already, of course. Test 2, and now again it floats around. I can drop it wherever I want. I did by accident under test, but that's fine. So now I have created a duplicated copy of the test page. Again, something that was not there on DNN 8 nor DNN 7. Now, as I said, it's really a lot about the admin experience. You won't see too many new features. You won't see, I mean, this is one exception, duplicate a page. I mean, that was not there on DNN 8 nor DNN 7. But you will not be seeing too many new features there. You're gonna see also some settings that were removed, that have been removed and cleaned out from DNN 8 and DNN 7. But again, new features, no, you won't be seeing that too much. Now you will be seeing as well a lot of rearrangement, because I'm going to show this. Let me do an alt tab here. Okay, this is an admin view, and this is a super user view. Let me go back here to the main view, to the main sites. So, as you can see, you no longer have admin menu nor host menu. They no longer exist, but those two user levels, they still exist. You still have the super user, you still have the admin user. Now, what is the difference? The difference are the options displayed under the persona bar. Here, as admin, this user, Ederson Oliveira, is an administrator of the site. You under settings, you're going to see a limited number of options as compared to when you open settings as a super user. You're going to see scheduler, custom CSS, SQL console, config manager, about. So there are a few options that are, of course, not available if you log in as an admin only. But again, you no longer have the admin, you no longer have the host views. Also, on top of that, because now we have those views on the persona bar, before on DNN 8 and DNN 7, for each admin and host level feature, we had a page there, we had a tab. Now if you go back to the database, we had a tab there. Now, here on DNN 9, you no longer have the concept of pages, of admin pages, of host level pages. They don't exist anymore. It's a new concept. It's the concept of views. So you have views. What else I have here? Let me see the time. Okay. Another little detail here. On the persona bar, we now have a logout option. The logout option, it was never there on any of the bars on DNN 8 or DNN 7, but now you have the logouts, so you no longer need to count on the theme creator, the skin creator, to have placed a login logout token on the skin for you to be able to log out. Now you know, or you don't need to remember what is the URL that you have to type in to be able to log out automatically from DNN. No, there's always this link here, the logout link, so you can log out from the persona bar directly. Let me see. What else? What else? Any question at this point, Ryan? I mean, anything that is, this is not sitting well there. I mean, tell me.
So some folks have asked, did you have a chance to test it on a tablet or on a phone yet? How is it mobile responsive?
Great question. Actually, I have a point here talking about that. It is not responsive yet, and it was just that, I guess, that's not enough time to get that done as well. So DNN 9 will go live without the admin being responsive yet. That will come in I guess in a minor release in the near future, but it's not responsive out of the box. That's one thing that is not happening yet. There's another thing that will be done after the initial release, which are these two views, the site assets and the global assets. Those are the old file management under admin and file management under host. So these two views, they are still pointing to the original page that they used to have on DNN 8 and DNN 7. So if I click there, you're going to see a full refresh. You're going to see the old view there. This is not done yet. It will get done at some point after the DNN 9 initial release. But everything else, all the other views are pretty much done. I mean, I walked through the whole admin today, and again, there's very little to be done, and maybe some details here and there, but very little. And by the way, DNN 9 is live, will be live in 3 weeks. So exactly in 3 weeks, December 8th, there will be a webinar, and I'm gonna bring another browser here. Give you 1 second. So on December 8th, there will be a webinar introducing DNN 9 to whoever wants to watch that. So you have Naveen, you have Joe, you have Will there to announce the launch within 3 weeks only. That's it. What else? What else? I have a few links here to share with everybody. Yeah, so let me see this. So I was talking about the admin sides and you as a user, but if you are interested in expanding, or if you're a module developer and you may need to add more options to the persona bar, you can. And there is a new approach and a complete new approach on how to create more views on the persona bar. And you can see 3 blog posts from Ash Prasad. Here's one, persona bar architecture. There is the extending the persona bar and also adding a React.js app to the persona bar. So those are in case you are you want to go more the development side of the persona bar and see how you can create your own items there. Because again, developers will be able to extend the items, the views on the persona bar to add their own views to their own modules, their own functionality. That's one. The other one is I've been putting out quite a few DNN 9 reviews. It's really about mapping where things used to be on DNN 8 and DNN 7, where are they now on DNN 9, and how things are working there. So every week I'm putting 2 to 3 new videos, and I'll be doing that for the next 3 weeks as well. So this is the link, we can share those links later. This is the link where you can sign up to the DNN Corp YouTube channel so you can see the videos as they come along. Nightly builds, you can go to this link or you can go to Google, put DNN nightly builds, it will point to this page. You can download and install the package of DNN 9 if you want to have a look. And last but not least, okay, this is a different subject. I think that's, yeah, I think that I'm done here.
Yeah.
Right.
That was excellent.
All I had.
Thank you, Addison. That was an excellent introduction and overview for folks who might have heard DNN 9 is coming but haven't yet seen even a snippet of an introduction into it. That's a good beginning to end intro of what we're going to see and what's coming up. David and Clint, I know there was a lot of conversation going back and forth in chat. There were some questions that I'd picked up on, mobile being one of them. Were there some other questions that we should try and bring up now or have Addison look at?
That was a big one. There was some talk about how it would impact themes or not impact themes.
I saw that.
And I think the answers got stated
Well,
there, but
yep.
Feel free to...
A recap on in case 2 far away from the microphone, you couldn't hear that. David said that some of the conversation in chat was a little bit about the iframe nature of that persona bar and whether it would affect themes or wouldn't affect themes, and how some of the controls inside of skins that you might have that are, or excuse me, themes, that are relating to your admin control panel, you can start to remove those as far as DNN 9 was concerned. So I think that I saw some of the questions asked and then answered and bantered around inside of chat.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, if I can say anything, I haven't tried, to be honest, DNN 9 with other skins, with other themes, but the main the key aspect of the new persona bar is that it will not mess around, it will not interfere with the theme that is going on. And the other thing that actually I asked Joe the other day is there any breaking change with DNN 9? And it does seem to be any change from a module development, from a theme development. It does seem to have any breaking changes on that front, you know.
Hey, so regarding there was a field for custom CSS, was that site level or page level?
To relay the question there was that there was a field for custom CSS, and the question was whether that was page level or site level custom CSS.
That is the equivalent, Clint, to the portal.css. Okay, so that's where it used to be admin site settings CSS. That's that equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
So can we remove that?
So because it's a persona bar item, we can remove or hide that then?
So you can't just like jQuery hide it. You'd have to.
jQuery hide it.
I'm not sure yet how you can take things away from the persona bar. I'm not sure about that.
All right.
That'd be a good video from DNN Hero. Huh?
That'll be a follow-up video for DNN Hero then. All right.
Maybe I'm saving to share that there, you know.
Well, Anderson, thank you very much for giving everyone here an introduction to DNN 9. Thank you for putting that together for us. We appreciate it very much. And if no one said it to you recently or this week, we appreciate the things you do for the community, for DNN Corp, for DNN Summit, for your own DNN Hero. There's a lot of activity that you're putting out, and if no one's told you recently, thank you very much for all that you do.
I appreciate it, and pleasure is mine.
Clint says you're his spirit animal.
What is that? I'm what?
You're his DNN spirit animal.
Okay, right. Okay, cheers, man.
All right, David, if you'll pass me back. Oh yes, Addison.
Before I go, okay. So just a quick note on the video interviews for the DNN Summit presenters. So again, every week I'm interviewing about 6 of the presenters. They are all going live, a full interview recording and sound bites as well. So again, at some point, I guess at Ryan you have them listed up in a page. There's also, I mean, if you go to youtube.com/DNN Hero, you're going to see all of them there as well. But it will be spread across on social and other websites. That's it. That's it. I'm done. Cheers. Bye. Hasta la vista.
Okay. Good night. Thank you so much. All right, kind of going backwards to the community buzz and announcements. We went through a certain amount of things here already. I wanted to put in one item that maybe everybody else has already heard about. Maybe this is kind of a non-topic, but I did want to mention that Google, and thereby Google Chrome, is continuing forward with a set of steps that they put in motion back in 2014. They basically, at that point, decided that, and so this is Google from their perspective, decided that we're going to be giving a little bit of a search engine ranking boost to any website that was running under SSL, so that you had an HTTPS website, regardless of whether you actually needed it for security elements in your site. If it was e-commerce, if it was dealing with sensitive data, then of course you wanted to have it already locked down. But if you just had a small mom-and-pop website that simply had marketing information on it, there was no need for an SSL certificate. However, it was Google's perspective and kind of manifesto posting that a secure web is in everyone's best interest. So they said that they would start by benefiting or promoting just a little bit more websites that had an SSL certificate. That led to companies producing lower level, kind of easier to get SSL certificates, so that if you weren't doing e-commerce, it was a little bit easier to set up and not have to jump through so many hoops. But again, that's past news. That was 2014 when that made a splash. This past month or two, a lot more information has come out about a change that's going to be happening in the browser Chrome. So Google Chrome is going to be updating, and I believe the date is January the 17th, that they are going to be pushing out a new version, which at that time will change Chrome's display of any website that is not HTTPS. And if I pulled up one of the right sites here, on screen I'm showing a screenshot of the difference of what's going to occur. If you have an SSL certificate in place, you get a green padlock, and everyone gets this visual sense that they're on a secure page. Well, a perfectly normal HTTP, non-SSL based site after this January publish will now have this look up in the bar up at the top. So instead of this little information bar about the site, you're going to see the wording "not secure." And if you, like me, deal with marketing folks and advertising agencies or just end users, that's the type of thing that's going to scare them or spook them. So if you weren't already aware of this change that's coming to Chrome, it's something that companies like mine are now reaching out to all of our clients who previously have not needed an SSL certificate, and we are telling them they're going to need to have an SSL certificate or they're going to have questions coming up. So just a community industry type of thing. If you haven't already heard about this, do a little bit of research. You might want to promote SSL certificates for your sites or for your client sites. Fringe benefit, of course, you're also going to get a little bit of a bump on your search engine ranking values and scores there because of it as well.
Once everybody does it.
Not once everybody does it. Yeah, that's true, but that is part of the deal. All right, Clint and David, do we have anything else to mention? Otherwise, I think we are to the sign off for our session tonight and for giveaways and I don't know, moving on to party for the evening. Let me go ahead and mention that this is our last online session for the year. Traditionally, we have our December Southern Fried User Group meeting at a restaurant. We'll be at the Melting Pot or we'll be at a steakhouse, and we'll basically have a party for everyone who visits us here local. So if you're in the area, Mark, maybe you want to drive up. I don't know if he's still online. Maybe. Sorry, yeah, drive down. I just use the southern phrase. Drive up, wherever. Drive over. If you want to come and see us, we will be doing that. We'll decide what restaurant we're going to be at and specifically what night, because sometimes we shift it around from Thursday nights. But we're going to be having that in December. I mentioned earlier in the session we will be having our January Southern Fried User Group meeting at DNN Summit. Might be an abbreviated one. We might play around with the format. We'll talk a little bit about it tonight and next month. But I'm looking forward to it, and I've already talked with several people who are who are coming to DNN Summit, who are excited because they live in other areas and they haven't been able to attend a Southern Fried DNN User Group meeting, and they're excited about participating in that Thursday night. So I'm looking forward to that as well. We'll talk to Cassidy about getting me the right kind of setup so we can hold that with good technology support and phone support. David?
One thing I want to continue to mention just about the meetup and sponsoring and
yes.
helping with that and stuff, because that does cost us each month and so forth. So if anybody is willing to contribute
step
to
up.
that'd be great.
So I don't know if the microphone caught it, but David has been shouldering the meetup sponsorship this time, and we are looking for a sponsor. So if anyone is out there online paying attention, we would love to have a sponsor for the cost of our meetup.com setup. So even if that's yep, they can contribute an amount. It doesn't have to be a permanent thing, but it's right there for chip in, and that can be done a little bit at a time, for a month at a time. We appreciate it. All right, so tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to pass it over to David and to JR. No. I've been standing up here a while. Let me sit down for a second. Rest the rest of the feet. We got JetBrains. All right. So Clint, why don't you give us our first thing? So is this the standard JetBrains that we did last month as well? This is one license.
We'll do the JetBrains, including the online
okay.
folks. the Raspberry Pi is a physical device we're not going to ship out, so
All right.
we limited to in-house here.
So we have the first giveaway here is a JetBrains license. If you haven't seen before, this is a coupon code for the JetBrains site so that you can purchase any one of their software, any one of their apps. I'm losing the words device I was going to say. And that is for a full year paid license, and after that full year, it still operates and it still runs. It's just not able to do upgrades and things like that. But it is a full version of some of their fantastic items, all available to you. So it's not a specific one. You get to choose. Clint, what do we have here for our first ticket number? And again, this is available to the online folks as well.
So it's 479047.
479047 is the ticket number for this. What do we have there? David as one of the people.
Anybody get that here? Is it helping us no more? What was it? 479047.
JR with Manage.com has won a JetBrains license, and I think you have a developer on tap who would love to pick up the IntelliSense or any number of different items there. ReSharper, yep. That was, you know what, that's a really good point. Thanks very much online for everybody being with us online. We're going to go ahead and end the recording for this session. Again, we will see you in January at DNN Summit. Please be sure to spend time online either at Southern Fried DNN, our website, to catch up on videos and things leading up to DNN Summit. Be sure to check out the DNNSummit.org website and watch what's going on there for information. Catch Adderson's video snippets either on the YouTube channel for DNN or at the DNN Hero YouTube site and channel. And we will see you guys in the new year. Thanks very much.